Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's CNCF TAG Environment Sustainability meeting. Today is Wednesday, October 4th. This is a community meeting which falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which can be summarized to be just excellent to each other. This meeting will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so just be mindful of what you say. We have a lot of attendees today, kicking things off, would anybody like to introduce themselves who's new to this meeting?
I'll say hi. I'm Xander. I work on open source at Microsoft, and I've worked with some folks on this call on SIG release stuff as well. Haven't joined this one before, but yeah, excited to learn a little bit more and work with y'all.
Awesome, Xander. Great to see you also in this meeting. Is there?
Hi, team. I'm Angel. I finally make it. I've been trying to join the meetings, but I always have a meeting. So I'm glad to be here, share with all of you. And I work at a company called Quambi. It's a KCSP, but I also run a couple of meetups specifically on LATAM and South Florida. So happy to be here and support.
Great to have you.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm also a CNCF ambassador, and I've heard there's going to be some initiatives for KubeCon Europe to go extra green this year, so I'm excited to hear more in this group.
Great to have you, Carla.
Thanks.
Also for me, first time here. Nice to meet all of you. I already know some of you in the call. Super nice to see you again. Yeah, looking forward to this meeting today.
Thanks, Andrea.
Hi, I'm Nila. It's also my first time here. I also heard about the KubeCon train idea, so I'm excited for that. And I also saw a presentation at PromCon, which also makes me curious to find out more about the working group, actually.
Great to have you.
Hi everyone, this is Vincent Caldera here from Red Hat. First time I attend this meeting because I'm based in Singapore, so usually I cannot make the time. Just happened to be in Europe this week, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to join, see how the discussions are going. I work very closely with our team on sustainability projects, including Kepler. So right now I'm actually working on how we are going to integrate Kepler with a intelligent machine learning algorithm to do optimization of Kubernetes workload.
Awesome. Yes, welcome all. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce himself? Otherwise, we can move on to the working groups. The first one, working group comms. Kara, would you like to give an update?
Hello. Yeah, sure. So the working group comms meetings are every Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern, and that's plus 4 hours for CST. Is it CST? It'll be on the calendar, and I will send updates. I'm sorry. What we're working on, so we're meeting currently now to figure out our back issues that we have, blogs being one of them. We have a proposal for our charter. So if I will put the issue in, or actually I think it's up at the top of these notes, there's a to the right with the working groups. The proposal issue is there. If you'd like to take a look and give your approval or revisions, the document is open to edit. We'll share that with our talk liaisons, and hopefully have that finalized prior to KubeCon, hopefully within the next week. But so right now we are forming and norming, and we are working on having a 30, 60, 90-day plan. It really is a nice entry point if you're new to the tag, or if you want to contribute in ways that are not code related. We have several folks that are a part of it. Myself and Trisha Cahill are from Intel, are the co-chairs, but because there's so much that needs to be accomplished, we're proposing that there are sub chairs as well. So for someone, a go-to person for events and for content, for the website, for social media. So if those are of areas of interest for you, definitely join us on Thursdays. I'll send out a reminder with all the information, the Zoom link. It's actually the same Zoom link as this. The meetings are recorded, and you can see on our YouTube channel the last recordings, and then we also have meeting notes as well that you can leverage, and I will put those in this document as well. Oh, thank you, Leo, for putting the issue in.
Thanks, Carol, for the update.
Mm.
So yeah, right. The working group comms is very much like in the beginning. So we are starting things up. So it's a very good time to support, add your ideas to the charter, add your ideas to like how this working group functions. And I see Malo has her hand up.
And just real quick, we have several I think 2 blogs that I know of that are in progress. Do we have a process for that yet? Because I would really like us to start printing regularly. And they're both very nice. I know I have a lot of comments on one of them. That's just because I care.
Yes, we do have a process for blog posts. We created, I think, a process a couple of months ago. I can find the link in a second. It basically is based around an issue template. And there's also like a small documentation. But maybe we can expand on this or slim it down. So because I think like for some blog posts, the author might need like a little bit more like support or reviews. And for some other cases, they're already like the expert of the tool. So maybe they need like a different outline how to review the blog post, maybe. Let me find the link. By the way, in chat, this link to YouTube is the channel for the tag where we upload the recordings. Quickly find. Maybe in the meantime, maybe we can. Are there any more questions or comments to the working group comms? If not, we can move on to working group green reviews. Christina.
Yes, I'm not sure if you wanted to do the status, Nikki, since you were able to join nevertheless.
You go for it and I'll add anything, if anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, then I can do a quick update. I think since the last meeting, we got access to the infrastructure in Equinix and right now Nikki and Ross are looking into together on how we could bootstrap those the Kubernetes cluster so that it has the necessary tools and configuration in place so that we can build the kind of our measurement workflow accordingly. So we have a separate issue for that on our new repo for tag env tools. So this is what we are currently working on. The second part the second activity that we're working on is looking into how this workflow pipeline will look like that we would use in order to perform necessary calculations and measure the sustainability footprint and kind of generate results out of that. So there is some interest also from the working group members that we are currently in process of creating a dedicated GitHub issue. It's not there yet for making that workflow implementation more concrete. So this is also in the works. We have a design doc for the overall implementation of this measurement workflow that we are working on, and we really appreciate any input we could get in terms of how this implementation design would look like. So if you would like to take a look, I think we'll shortly add the link to the design doc in the chat. So we are just working on getting more content into it and outlining it currently. And we also have a ongoing dialogue with the Falco maintainer team, because Falco is the first tool that we will be collaborating with the Falco team in order to kind of target our measurement workflow towards that tool. So we have an ongoing dialogue with the Falco team in terms of identifying important metrics that we need in order to implement the design successfully, like for instance, what is a functional unit or what is a software boundary in the Falco tool. So we have an ongoing dialogue there, also in a dedicated GitHub issue, and the plan is that some of the Falco team members will also join us in the next work group meeting to discuss some of these points more specifically to ensure that we are aligned and can get the necessary input that we need in order to proceed. Yes, I think that's the current status. Is there anything I missed, Nikki?
That was excellent. I think the next meeting is next week on Wednesday, and so if anyone wants to, I think you mentioned it, but yeah, if anyone wants to contribute to this, please join the meetings that happen alternating with this one on Wednesdays.
Yeah, so Leo's linked the project board in the chat, so that's the easiest way to get an overview of all the ongoing issues. So if you're interested in helping us out or just being a part of it in any way, please take a look at it.
And I guess if you're maintaining a CNCF project which you would like to add to the pipeline in the future, we have an issue where we gather interest from CNCF project maintainers, and you could already flag your interest in that issue. I think I'll share the issue in a second.
Right. Thanks for the update. So I think the Working Group Green Reviews is an excellent project if you would like to be more technical. So Working Group comms has like a big focus on outreach and all these things, which are also very important. The Green Reviews is like more on the technical side. So if you, for example, are very interested in like how to measure Falco in like in our most recent, or like what is coming up, how we like assessing the sustainability footprint of the Falco project. This is a great project. Also very new, so a lot of things are just booting up. But I think this has an excellent outline, so pretty exciting. Are there any more questions to the Working Group Green Reviews? All right, thanks so much for the updates, Kara and Nikki and Christina. Moving on to the next section. So we have Andrea today with us talking about an initiative. Would you like to say a few words about that?
Yeah, I prepared a short presentation if you don't mind. It's like just a couple of slides.
Sounds great. Can you share your screen? Yeah.
I can't because you're sharing.
All right, let me stop sharing.
Okay, now let me see if Zoom collaborates. You can see my screen? Can you see the presentation?
It's just starting for me. Nothing just yet.
You need to reshare it again, maybe.
Let me try again. Can you see it now?
Yay.
Looks good.
Amazing. It's just a couple of slides, promise. Nothing too boring. Okay, folks, nice to meet you again. My name is Andrea. Some people in the call know me already. I'm a CNCF ambassador. I go quite a bit around conferences around Europe. I moved a couple of times around Europe, and this is why I know some people in the German community, in the Dutch community. And just 3 months ago, I moved to a new place. I moved to Paris, that, as you might know, next year is going to host KubeCon 2024, right? KubeCon 2024 next year, coming to Paris from the 19th to the 22nd of March. Very exciting for me, because when KubeCon was in Amsterdam, I was based in Amsterdam, and now it is moving to Paris. I pretty much moved to Paris, so KubeCon is sort of like following me, which is great. Paris is a city that, you might not know that, but it's a city that has one peculiarity, which is really interesting for me. It's a city that is very well connected by train to pretty much the whole Europe. So if we look at a couple of maps, this is like a station that faces the west side of France, and we have connections pretty much to all the west coast of France and to the south up to Toulouse, but even, as you can see, to the border between with Spain. But where things get interesting is this with Gare de Lyon, which is the station that looks towards the south. Over here, we have the possibility of being connected to all the south of France, so to cities like Marseille and Nice, but also to cities in other states, like Spain, in Barcelona. There is a direct train between Barcelona and Paris. There is a direct train between Milan and Turin to Paris, and then Switzerland, Geneva and Zurich, for example. And if we look at Gare du Nord, which is the station that looks towards the north, the things get even more interesting. We have direct connection to London, to Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Brussels, many cities in Germany like Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Munich, and even Austria, cities like Vienna, for example. So all these countries and all these cities around Europe all have direct train connections to Paris, London, Barcelona, Brussels, Amsterdam, and even more. These are just the ones that I could find, pretty much. And traveling to KubeCon by train is by far not a new thing. People have been doing that for ages. Just searching for KubeCon and train on Twitter shows you many different posts of people, being proud of traveling to KubeCon in a sustainable way, but all of them have been doing it independently, right? All of them have been organizing groups of like 2, 3 people, or even singularly in certain cases. Also, I'm somebody that travels quite a lot by train and takes planes on when it's really a necessity. I recognize myself that the train travel has 2 main problems. The first thing is that train travel can be expensive. At times, as you may know, it can be even more expensive than traveling by plane. Right? So at times you have the same, maybe the same duration by train and by plane, but the plane is it's way cheaper than the train. And also at times the train can take a much longer time, right? For example, a train to Milan to Paris can take 7 hours. By plane, it's 1.5 hours. And of course, if the plane takes less and costs less, you're going, of course, to prefer traveling by plane rather than by train. So this summer, I thought, what if we can find a way to take train travel and spice it up somewhere? If we can find a different way of traveling to KubeCon by train in a sustainable way? Can we make this experience a little bit better for the participant and for people that want to travel by train to KubeCon? And so I came up with this idea. The idea is actually pretty simple. Local communities from Italy, Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, or Spain rent a train carriage. And while this might seem absurd, it's something you never heard of, I can assure you it's something that train companies do all the time. For private companies, for public events. This is something that happens at all times. And I also found out it's not even as expensive as I thought. The second part is that 2 or 3 local sponsors cover part of the cost to rent this carriage, meaning that we will have each departure station will have 2 to 3 sponsors that will cover a part of the cost of renting this train carriage. This would allow us in return to offer all the remaining tickets at a discount to the participant, right? Now the participant don't have to pay the train price at full price, but they can pay it at a reduced price. So with this little solution, with this little trick, we just made traveling by train cheaper. Now, how do we fix the second point? How do we fix the fact that train travel can take a long time? And this is where the power of local communities really comes into place, right? Local communities can organize activities during the trip. For shorter trips, it might be something simple, like a couple of lightning talks or purely some networking event. But for longer trips that last multiple hours, let's imagine, travel from Zurich to Paris, that takes around 5 hours. We can even think about organizing a hackathon on a train, which is something as well that has been done before. There are reports and blog posts online of people doing hackathons on trains. For sponsors, this is the best idea to get good visibility during the trip to the community they care for, right? To their own local community. They can, even them, they will have the possibility of organizing activities like raffles, distributing goodies, or for example, getting feedback about their latest open source product, for example. And all this will end in Paris the day before KubeCon starts. Eventually, this is again just an idea that has been brewing in my mind for a while, with a pre-KubeCon evening event in Paris, where all these people coming from all corners of Europe will meet for one evening, like of celebrating, of partying, and making sure that everyone has a nice experience the next day during the conference. So the idea is pretty simple, but I am one person, right? I have a certain amount of fingers on my hands. I can type just so fast, and I need more people to help me out if I want to make this a reality. And this especially because I think local communities knows best their participants and their sponsor, and this is a distributed effort, right? Only the local community members can really know, is this initiative going to work with the members of my community? Are sponsors going to sponsor a certain event like this? Which activity during the train can I plan or not plan for this trip, for this trip duration, for example? So what I'm looking for is people and communities that would be interested in seeing this initiative come to life. And this is why I came today and did this short presentation with TAG Environmental Sustainability, because it's probably, like the tag that fits best this kind of initiative. Of course, we all have busy life, we have work, we have families and so on. So even if you don't manage to participate actively, I would be more than happy to hear your feedback about the initiative, new ideas, things that we could improve, or yeah, anything that really crosses your mind. Of course, as every good ideas, the first thing that you do is buying a domain name. So you can already go to cubetrain.io, and there is a website that I set up. Very quickly, I have to admit, there are probably a ton of typos, but it explains this idea a little bit more in details. It explains the point of view of a participant, of a community, and of a sponsor. And it's pretty much a call for action. Let's put it this way. So if you would like to, participate in this initiative and try to make it a reality, please get in contact with me. I will be more than happy to, try to facilitate things as much as possible and, organize this initiative all together. Again, my idea is not to, be the master over everybody, quite the opposite. I would like to have an initiative that is an umbrella over different communities. Each one of them organizes independently. Each one of them makes things their own way, in the way that is, more appropriate for their own community. But in a way, we can push all this as a single initiative. Yeah, I'm all yours. Now I want to hear your feedback, your critics, and yeah, thank you for listening.
Thanks, Andrea. This is a very interesting, exciting idea. Lightning talks on train. I can see this happening. Are there any comments? I think we should definitely follow this up.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I think
I love it.
great-
It's
oh,
brilliant.
sorry.
Carla.
Hi. No, I wanted to say that, yeah, it's a great idea, and I'm sure we can contribute from different parts of Europe. I saw in the chat already that people all over wants to get involved. Can I clarify, Andrea, is the website already up? Is that something that you've already done? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to, I will type it down in the chat. If you go to it's a placeholder, and there are probably a ton of grammar mistakes. But you know, like I just wanted to have something up there so that people that would be interested at you know, just a reference on, hey, just send an email here and we take care of it. But I tried to really make the point of why this initiative makes sense as a single participant, as a community, and as a sponsor. And yeah, and now let's see, let's see where this brings us.
Yeah, and I think that the more we collaborate, we can even build ourselves the sponsorship packages, for example, to get support, so we can suggest some packages and also give the freedom to companies to build their own. But yeah, happy to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like obviously, if you think about it, like a trip from London to Paris is probably going to cost less than a trip from Zurich to Paris. It's just like 3 times as long. Let's put it this way. My idea is just to create a framework, really, not to impose anything or not to, you know, make a decision, but more of creating a structure so that people that want to have a look at it, you know, have a starting point. Yeah, Leo, thank you for sharing. If you go on, just describing it quickly, but if you go on the plan, like in the top right, it is more a description of what I just said, pretty much. And instead, if you go on the participate section, there you will have the point of view of somebody that joins as community sponsor and traveler. And yeah, if you click on any of those, it will tell you pretty much why you should join as a community, as a sponsor, as a traveler.
I'm super much in favor of it. Maybe we can find some connections to some of the European train companies. I mean, come on, last year Mercedes-Benz and Daimler sponsored KubeCon. Why not Deutsche Bahn and I don't know, they call them France and Spain and Italy all together? Why not?
I already, out of curiosity, I already contacted the Eurostar that does London, Paris, and they were pretty quick to respond. I have to say, I was surprised by, you know, just a couple of days, and they got my quote of, yeah, how much it would cost.
I'm pretty sure they all run on Kubernetes somewhere. So
yeah, Nele, I think, was saying that Deutsche Bahn is, of course, like a big player in the cloud in Germany, and so they could be interested. You know, an idea that she brought to me was that even like we could even get a train company to sponsor it as well. At the end, I mean, we need to keep in mind that KubeCon is now the biggest open source conference in Europe. So this is a big selling point.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm loving it.
I think maybe we can follow this up also in the working group comms. What do you think, Kara? Sure, if you're still here. And also from the CNCF, we have Tyler, who is head of ecosystem. I'm not sure if one of the train companies are already part of the end users. Maybe. Potentially we can ask him, reach out. There's a chance he already has some contacts. This could make things a lot easier. But I think, regardless, I think this is a very good thing. We should definitely follow this up. All right. Any more?
I will just add one thing. I will also do this short presentation next week, probably at the CNCF ambassador call that we have. So we might get some, you know, extra contacts and extra people in the initiative through that as well.
Awesome. Nikki?
one way to, I mean, if we want to share this with other tags, is there any way we could do this as well? Like the TOC, Leo, or any other kind of group so that we can share directly with other tags?
Sure. I mean, I think right now over the ambassadors, I think that's the best way, I guess, for now, just to outline the plans and just see like how many folks are interested in supporting. Maybe there are like some other good ideas next to the lightning talks and the hackathon, which we could do. And then after that, I think we can spread the word further, but I don't think we need to go now to the TUC. I don't think this is like the best way. I think this is like very much like an ambassador topic, and also obviously for us, it's also relevant. So I think these two groups, I can see this bouncing off those two groups.
But yeah, feel free to share the website around. Feel free to share the recording of this presentation as soon as it goes as soon as it's uploaded to YouTube. And yeah, let's get the ball rolling. I feel like we have quite some time. Tickets for KubeCon Europe are not out yet, so I think it's a good time to start such an initiative.
Yes, but from my experience, especially if we do a hackathon, this takes a lot of time and effort to organize. So maybe lightning talks, we can do this also a little bit more like ad hoc, a couple of weeks before the event. But I think like a hackathon where we need to plan like a lot of things, maybe we should start early. So that's great that you bring this up now. All right. Do we have a place where we can discuss this further? Yes, I think it would be great if we could have like a tracking issue where we just have like one anchor for collaboration. We can also use this or share this then also with the CNCF ambassadors. Andrea, if you think that's a good way to do this.
I wish I did a CNCF ambassador. An alternative could be we could also create a separate Slack channel and start having and start organizing there as well. I'm not sure if it makes sense or not.
Yes, I think everybody has the power to create a new channel, so feel free to do so.
Then I can try to create a separate channel, and yeah, we'll get the list of the attendees of today from the doc and add you over there, pretty much.
Sounds good. All right. Any more comments to this one? Otherwise, let me switch over. So thanks, Andrea, again. It's a great initiative.
Thank you.
Looking forward to participate in taking the train from Hamburg. All right, the next one is from William, but he is not here today. But I think, Christina, you mentioned in Slack that you would like to browse over this briefly, right?
Yeah, I think we also actually have, let's see, we have Al Hussein here today, which is great because this issue is kind of also related to the script that Al Hussein shared with us earlier. So I can maybe just bring up one question that I think is important for us to define how we can proceed. And this is related to the issue we have where we would like to have some kind of automated workflow where we could scrape sustainability related talks and conferences and generate a list of that we could publish and make available on our TAG ENV website. And initially, when we created this issue, let me just quickly find the link to that one and add it to the chat. There was mentioned a script that Al Hussein has created and shared and used to scrape the data from I think it was from 2 conferences, from Con and Cloud Native Con, I think, and Open Source Summit. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And then he kindly shared it with us. But then at a later point, William actually just sat down one evening and or multiple evenings, I'm not sure, I need to ask him. And he just created a tool that is called Green Scraper that Leo shared in the chat right now, which was also developed with the sustainability practices in mind and is quite lightweight and well performant. That he was also interested in presenting today, but he unfortunately couldn't join. But I think nevertheless we could use a few minutes just to align on how we can kind of handle this, especially when we have multiple alternatives, if this should be a part of the working group or if we should have some kind of process on how we can kind of figure out what to choose, and if these two tools are pretty similar, what should we go for, and kind of what would be the best approach to kind of do it from here, because right now it's just an issue there with these two proposals for the tools that we could use.
Yes, I think this sounds like we could create a new repository under the new GitHub organization CNCF Tags, where we also have the working group Green Reviews project. Because in our tag environment sustainability repository, especially for these projects, I mean, right now there's not a lot of code, but potentially it will evolve. So I think it might make sense to push this already to a new repository, especially if we have like a dedicated new organization for exactly this reasons. So I think we can ask that. This should not take a lot of time. And then we can just collaborate. Maybe William and Hussein have some ideas like what the best approach is. I think we can just turn this into a small project and then have maybe a pipeline and then publishing these on our website. I think that would be great.
Because from what I understood, Al Hussein actually took a step further and also created a workflow for his script. So there could probably make sense either to collaborate or have a way to handle if those are two tools that do the same thing. It would be good probably for William to not use a lot of time if there is something that does this already. So I'm not sure myself actually. So I'm just wondering if there is a better way to do this collaboration without in a more efficient way, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we have, or do we already have an issue for this? And then we probably just need to hook William and Al Hussein together.
Let me see. Let's see. I have the issue here. I'll just add it to the chat. And I think both tools are mentioned there. So we just need to figure out how we could collaborate so that we don't end up with two very similar tools, I think.
Yeah. All right. I think for next steps for this one, we should create a new repository. I don't know, Al Hussein, would you like to speak to this or?
I mean, I'll just give an update. So lately I have worked on this and further improved the script so I can exclude some of the actually talks that only the speaker's name contain the word green. So I think it makes sense to exclude if it is only one keyword that is matched. And also created, as mentioned by Christina, created a workflow. And the workflow publishes those talks to a markdown file. And if we can publish it to a markdown file, I believe we can also publish it to other sort of files as well. I looked at the code from William. I think it's great because it's also written in Go as most of the tools from CNCF as well. And I think we can maybe discuss and find maybe one way to continue with. So with whatever ideas we get, we can just contribute to one source, which is even more sustainable, so we don't have to redo things. I will reply to this issue, and hopefully we can take it from there.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay.
All right. So potentially at some point, we will have maybe under this tab, under events, maybe a second page or so where we can just have this listed nicely. It would be great. So right now we publish under events basically like a page if we attend in person and have like, okay, there's not a lot of info, but for EU, for example, we had tag meetup, a talk, and so on. So this will stay the same if we have like more presence at a conference, but I think just to discover talks and at certain events, I think that's like a great addition. So thanks for working on this. And thanks also, Christina, for facilitating. All right. Any comments, questions? If not, we can go to the open discussion items. And I have added a few, but most of these are like, I just added them. They're all like a collaboration effort. So multiple folks are working on these, especially for the first one. So just as a reminder, probably everybody is already aware, but next week, we will have the Cloud Native Sustainability Week. We worked on this for quite some time. Essentially, you can have an overview on this page. So this is our website. And there's this page, Cloud Native Sustainability Week. If you scroll down, you can find basically that we have a lot of local meetups everywhere, kind of. It looks to be that we have around like 21 meetups. A couple of meetups are not next week. They are pushed a little bit later, but that's okay. At the end, they will also talk about environment sustainability. So I think that's awesome. And we have also a small mini conference next week with 3 speakers next to some folks from the tag who just gives, for example, an update on comms or the other working groups, and also on the landscape document. And we are also working on blog posts. So there are a couple of those. And we also have a daily live stream from Siam and Divya. They have a daily live stream, I think, for an hour every day on Cube Simplify about this topic. Right. So that's very great that this is finally happening. A few organizers are also in this meeting, so thanks to you all again. We will also send some more information to the local meetup organizers probably tomorrow about some welcome slides, artworks, and so on and so forth. For the most part, we had the meeting last week to talk about those too, but not everybody could attend. So I think some written down guide for the local meetup organizers would be very helpful. All right. So maybe we can also, if you have not signed up for the virtual, it would be great if you could take a look. It's actually, there's the link. It's maybe a little bit hidden. But if you can make it, would be great. If you can share it or reshare it, we have a couple of posts on LinkedIn and Twitter about this. Thanks to Christina for posting all these informations. Would be great if you could take a look. All right, moving to the next one. I think Kara already left, right? So we may want to push this to next meeting because this is kind of connected to working group comms. because we have received a couple of more interesting talk proposals for the virtual conference, which we do not have space for this time. So the idea was, because they're very interesting to hear about, and we may want to have like another event, maybe after KubeCon at some point, to reflect on KubeCon, and maybe also to have like some place to host these events, these talks. But we may want to push this because Kara's not here. Right. The next one is about KubeCon. So we have a tracking issue. So also for KubeCon EU, last time we had a maintainer talk. This also happens now. And we also are planning to have a small meetup. For KubeCon EU, we had a 4-hour, which was basically like a very long tag environment sustainability meeting. But we can shape it in any way we would like to. I mean, we can also, for example, use this meeting to, I don't know, invite everybody from KubeTrain, for example. I mean, this would also be an option. We have we don't have received the sign up page just yet, but we are chasing this up to get a space at the conference venue in Chicago. I mean, for KubeTrain will be, I just forgot, KubeTrain will be for KubeCon EU, right? So for KubeCon NA, this probably does not happen. But point being, we can just shape the meetup how we would like to. So we can also, for example, have, if you would like to talk about something else which connects to environment sustainability, should be enough time. Right. Is there anything I forgot about KubeCon, Marlo? I don't think so, right?
We have the sustainability is the first keynote on the first day. It's not the very first keynote, it's one of the beginning ones. So that's kind of neat to have there, just for awareness.
Yes, it's right after the like the welcome keynote and so on. So I think that's prime spot. Yeah.
Yep. Nikki's coming with me.
Yes, very exciting. All right, awesome. All right, then moving on to the next one. And I think this is, we have 8 minutes left. Not sure if this is enough time, but I think we can kick things off. So for the working group Green Reviews, in one of the last meetings, we kind of defining goals, I think, for the working group. And I think this could also be a good thing for the tag overall. So we just like leave all the working group things like to the side, because the working group chairs define the goals kind of besides that. But there are a couple of things for the tag overall where we would like to define goals. I think this makes a lot of sense. There are a couple of things which we do not like chase up that much just yet. I mean, we have like a limited capacity in a way, and I think booting up all these working groups and working on the other things, kind of we are already stretching the capacity. But I think there are a couple of things we should focus on maybe in the future. I added 2 things here. The first one being engaging more with the Kubernetes community. For the other tags, this is like one of the major parts as far as I can tell. And for us, this is not happening too much right now. So I think picking like a more closer partnership, for example, with the auto-scaling special interest group from Kubernetes or some other ones could be very good. I think this we should follow this up. Maybe this could be a goal that we start something in this direction. And there's another one which is kind of like, in a way, like the elephant in the room, but it's all the cloud providers and the sustainability efforts. And we could also at some point be like a good hub or ground for collaboration. So for example, the Kubernetes community does this quite well, where they have like a neutral ground for companies to collaborate on certain standards. And maybe down the road, this could also be, the tag could also be in this position, but then in the realm of cloud-native sustainability. I know that the GSF, the Green Software Foundation, has a couple of efforts in this direction. Working groups thinking about protocols and so on. And also the SCI standard, for example, goes in this direction. Potentially there's like some space, I think there certainly is, for us to also push some of these efforts. So these are just like two things. Maybe KubeCon would actually could be like a good spot for us to talk about this more extensively, because this might take a little bit more time than 8 minutes. But just to kick things off, does anybody has any thoughts on this? Yeah. Nikki?
Yeah, I wanted to check in with everyone on the call to see if any of what Leo mentioned now could be interesting that you'd like to engage with, just to know, so if it comes up, so that we can, you know, message you, talk with you, and include you in these conversations. Otherwise, I really wanted to know, Leo, for the Green Software Foundation, and how they are trying to get more granular data from cloud providers. Have you been in contact or participated in those meetings? Do you know how it's going?
So there's a new project from the Green Software Foundation. Maybe I can find the link also in a second, which is about real-time measurement of energy, I think, right? It's about developing a new protocol, which should be kind of a standard. From what I could tell, it's pretty new. I'm not sure like how much happened. But I know Adrian, who is kicking this working group off, we have him next week in a virtual mini conference, and he's giving a talk about that. And he also shares some insights, not just about the cloud providers, but also about this working group. So we will have more information then, I guess. Not sure. I haven't seen the link even for the meeting. So the GSF works a little bit sometimes. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to find meeting links. It's not as public sometimes as the CNCF community, which makes things a little bit more challenging. But we should follow this also up.
Because, like, for example, last week I did a talk at PromCon, and it was about Kepler. For anyone who doesn't know, Kepler is an energy monitoring tool, and it's also, they mentioned in the GSF that perhaps they would use something like that. But it would be interesting to know if they are still intending to use Kepler, because it's an exporter to Prometheus. And so, you know, being at Grafana, there's a lot of Prometheus maintainers that could also help, since, you know, the query that is exported from Kepler is not useful until it's in a PromQL query and formatted a certain way with like a given interval, like a specific formula in the query. So that's really the hard part, at least in my experience. So I'm wondering if like they're standardizing that part as well, or what's going on and how we could help, I guess.
So I think maybe one of the goals should be that we try to intensify or improve the communication with the GSF.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So because we have just 1 minute left, I would just open up an tracking issue for this. Maybe we can just bring this up next meeting once again. Maybe a few more ideas will pop up until then. And I think this could also be, as I said, maybe a good talking point at KubeCon if we meet face-to-face, or a few of us meet face-to-face. All right. Is there anything you would like to talk about for the rest, like 30 minutes? No, 30 seconds. Otherwise, thanks so much, everybody, joining this call. A lot of new attendees. That's always great to see. And see you in the next meeting. Tomorrow is a working group comms meeting if you're interested. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye
Leo.
bye.